Hey Tina, you there? I just wanted to let you know that I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. We're finally going to get to meet your parents and we can talk about the engagement in person. It really feels like this has been a long time coming.
I know. I'm really happy that we're finally getting to make this official. My parents are really excited for it too. I just really hope that you get along with my dad when you two meet each other tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. By the way, what does your dad do for a living again? And what college did he go to? I don't think my son ever told me.
Oh, and my dad didn't go to college. Actually, he dropped out of high school and only has his GED that he got later.
Wait, what? Are you serious? Your dad didn't even finish all 4 years of high school? What happened that things ended up like that?
Well, my dad comes from a really poor family, and basically he needed to work more than he needed an education at the time. I think it was because they were living with his grandma in the house, and so his family needed extra money to take care of everyone. But he worked hard and was able to leverage all of his working experience into being able to open up his own business. Honestly, I'm really grateful for all the hard work my dad has done to make his life and the lives of his family better.
Wow, I really had no idea about any of this at all. That's really crazy.
Yeah, but since both of our dads are so hardworking, I really do hope that they can get along well.
Let me get this straight. You're going to bring your uneducated dolt of a dad to my house tomorrow?
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? He's not uneducated. He's one of the best in his field.
I'm sorry, but if your dad couldn't even manage to finish high school, then I really can't see how he's anything but an idiot. I really had no idea the kind of person that your dad was, and I'm really disappointed in you. You've wasted mine and my son's time. I'm calling off this wedding. It's clear to me that you're not good enough to be with my son if this is the kind of family that you come from.
Hold on a second. You can't just decide that for yourself. That decision is between Dave and I. And just why do you care what kind of education my dad had when he clearly managed to make something of his life?
Because I can tell everything I need to know about someone from just their education. And you know, I looked into your background too. I was disappointed, but not crushed. But now that I know this about your father, I'm afraid I'll have to call it all off.
Sir, please do not talk that way about my father. I really respect him, and you're not being fair at all. I understand that you're Dave's father, but you are being horribly rude to me right now.
So what? Who cares if I'm being rude to some idiot's daughter? Why don't you open your eyes and realize where you're standing right now?
Ron, you really need to stop this right now. You are taking all of this way too far. I mean, I really don't think that my dad's education level should have anything at all to do with me marrying your son. Do you really think that you can know all that you need to just from looking at someone's schooling? I really do think you're going to want to wait until tomorrow to hear about how my dad managed to turn his life around. I'm sure that once you have the full story that you'll change your mind and see how great my dad is.
What is this, some kind of cult or something? Because I don't need to hear any kind of story to be swayed. Besides, you're not going to be coming over tomorrow, and there isn't going to be any meeting.
I'm sorry, but we've had this scheduled for a long time. Dave and I are going to be getting married, and as our parents, you all are going to meet.
Is this really the way you want to start your relationship with your future father-in-law?
Please, Ron, I would really appreciate it if you could just wait until tomorrow before jumping to conclusions about my dad. Dave, are you there? I was just talking to your dad, and for some reason he was really hung up on my dad not finishing high school.
Wait, what? Sorry, where's all this coming from all of a sudden?
Tomorrow, Dave! I'm talking about our meeting tomorrow! Your dad just reached out to me and got really mad to find out my dad didn't even finish high school. He was calling him all sorts of names and just being generally horrible.
Ugh, did he really? But I'm not surprised, but I'm so sorry that he reached out to you just to tell all that to you. Yes, unfortunately my dad is an elitist. There's really no other way to put it. Even when I was little, he was always telling me that I'd be nothing if I didn't go to the best schools. I mean, I had to get therapy after I moved out of the house to undo some of the harm that had caused me growing up. But I didn't think he'd subject other people to his purity test.
Oh, Dave, I had no idea this was such an issue with your dad. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
I know, but that's all in the past. I just can't believe that he would say that about the father of the woman I'm going to marry.
Well, what do you think we should do about this? Do you want to cancel the meeting tomorrow? Your dad sounded like he wasn't all that interested in meeting my parents after our talk.
Well, no matter what he says, it isn't going to change the fact that we're getting married. I'm not going to let my dad's bigotry get in the way of that. I'll tell you that much. Let me talk to him and try to smooth all this out. Of course, I won't tell him what your dad actually does for a living. We can wait for tomorrow for him to find out himself.
Thanks for doing that, Dave. I know that my dad likes to tell his story himself so that it doesn't get misconstrued or anything.
Of course, I completely understand. I'll tell my dad to cool it on being so judgmental. I'm sure that he'll be really surprised when he finally meets your dad and talks to him a bit about what he does. I mean, even I was shocked after I met your dad and got to know him a bit better.
Everyone seems to react that way, but it's so weird because to me, he's just my dad. Of course, I have a lot of respect for him, but at the end of the day, he's my dad first, you know?
It makes perfect sense to me, but I really can't wait to see the look on my dad's face when he realizes who your dad really is. Maybe that'll finally knock some sense into him.
I guess we can only hope so.
I knew I was right to be suspicious, and yet you insisted on dragging your deadbeat dad to my house anyways. Well, I never ever want to see you even speak to my son again. Do you understand me?
Do you have any idea what you've done? You assaulted my dad all because I told you he didn't finish high school? You realize that you've committed a crime, don't you?
You really think that anyone is going to take the side of a loser family like yours? The wedding is off, and I want you to stay far away from my family. That's an order.
An order? Excuse me? And just who do you think you are to boss me around like that? I am not your child, nor your employee. Do you understand? You're the one who committed violence over someone's education level. If you think you're in any position to start giving orders, you are out of your mind.
Don't you dare talk back to me. You're just upset because I'm not going to let you marry into our elite family. But don't blame me. Blame your dad for never making anything of his life.
You mean even after insulting the man, you still have the gall to look down on him like that? Well, don't worry. We don't want anything to do with you ever again either. We'll call the wedding off, no problem.
Well, of course you will. I ordered you to do so. Did you really think that I was ever going to let a girl from a family like yours marry my son? But like I said, don't blame me for this. You can go and complain to your dad that it's his fault.
Oh, I've gone and talked to my dad. He told me that we'd stop doing business with you.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? What do you mean that you talked to your dad and he said that he would stop doing business with me?
Well, what other choice are you leaving him after what you did? After we got home, my dad called his HQ to see if we had any active contracts with your company, and he canceled them all. He told his secretary to tell your company to ask you why this was all happening.
What business are you even talking about? Why would your dad's crappy little shop be working for my company?
Wow. So you really still haven't figured it out then? I would have thought that you would just looking at my dad, but I guess you didn't recognize him.
What do you mean I didn't recognize him? Is he supposed to be famous or something? Why do you think I would have recognized some uneducated hick like him?
I guess I'll just have to come out and say it then. My dad is the company president of Carco.
Wait a second. Carco? You mean Carco as in the famous vehicle manufacturers? That company?
That's right. That's the one. And the president of that company is my dad. So what were you saying about how elite your family was again? How you were too good to let me marry your son? Because compared to my family, you're really nothing. I mean, you weren't even connected enough to recognize my dad when he was right at your door.
Now hold on just a second. Is this supposed to be some kind of joke or something? Even your dad didn't even finish high school. There's no way that he's president of a company like Carco.
You do realize that you're just digging yourself a deeper hole with every slight you make against him, right? Yes, my dad never graduated high school, but your mistake was in judging him for that.
Hold on. I just got a call from my company. They told us that Carco is canceling all their contracts with us. But then, that means your dad is really...
That's right, I tried to warn you, but you just wouldn't listen to me. I just wish that I could be there in person to see your face right now. I bet the shock on it is just hilarious. But I'd imagine after this, you're getting fired and blacklisted from every company in the industry. Of course, what else could you really expect after acting the way you did to him?
But if we lose those contracts, then how is my company even supposed to stay open? Please tell me that you're joking. This can't be happening right now.
If you're so surprised, I wouldn't be. This is the natural outcome for someone like you. You were the one insulting my dad, and you were the one who assaulted him, and now you're paying the price for what you've done.
So then it's really true. Everything that you've been saying to me this whole time is really true?
Man, you really aren't as smart as you brag about being. Did you know that? For the last time, yes, it's true. But don't worry about canceling the marriage. I'm fine with that. I didn't want to join your family anyways. I already told Dave that I didn't want to have you as a father-in-law.
But wait, hold on. If you're really the daughter of the company president of a Carco, then please accept my humblest apologies. Of course you can marry my son, and I'm sorry that I ever gave you any doubt to the contrary.
Wow, you really turned around quickly, didn't you? But I'm afraid that's not going to work on me. I don't want anything to do with you or your family ever again. I talked to Dave and he said he was fine calling off the wedding as well.
Please wait. Don't say that. I know I said I didn't want you two to get married, but that's not my choice to make. That should be between you and my son.
I know, and I talked to your son and we said that we were calling off the engagement.
But I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Well, because I told him that if we got married, I wouldn't want to have any contact with you ever again.
Wait, so then, if you two got married, then Dave would never ever talk to me again? What did he say to that?
Well, I told him that, and he said he'd have to think about it, and I told him that I'd respect his decision. So the wedding is off.
But wait, please. Can't you just let me try and talk to your parents and smooth all this over? I'm sure that I could if you just give me a chance.
That is not going to happen. You do realize that you assaulted my dad, right? What makes you think that I'm going to arrange for a meeting for you after you've done that?
Please. I really had no idea at all who your dad was, and that was a huge mistake on my part. I realize that now. I had no idea that things were going to turn out this way.
Well, I don't see why you think that's our problem. You did this, now accept responsibility like an adult, including for the assault.
So what? You're really going to charge me for what I did? Please. I didn't think that I committed a crime or anything like that. It was just a little fight within the family, that's all.
Fight within the family? How could that be when I'm not married to your son yet? And did you really think you could get away with punching someone in the face just because they didn't finish high school?
But I mean, assault sounds so bad. I really didn't think that it would end up this way.
Just because you finally realized that you've actually done something wrong doesn't mean that anything is going to change. Besides, we've already decided that we're going to file a police report.
No, please don't do that. Why would you go to the police about this?
Because you punched my dad. Are you really not following this at all?
But if the police show up for what I did, then they might arrest me. I'll be in serious trouble if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the whole point of calling the police on someone. You're a criminal, and you should be punished.
Tina, please, don't do this to me. I know you might not like me, but I'm still your fiancé's father. Is this any way to be treating your elders?
Excuse me? Wow, that is really rich. But I have every right to do this because you broke the law.
I knew I shouldn't have tried to talk about this with a woman. Can you please just let me talk to your dad? This is something that should be settled between us men. We know what we're doing.
Wow, did you really think that was going to work? Did you think that jumping from elitism to sexism was going to make me want to help you?
Just tell me where your dad is. I just want to apologize to him. Isn't that what you think I should do?
I'm not going to tell you where my dad is, and frankly, I think you should just wait for the police to show up.
Please, just tell me where your dad is. This should just be between him and I.
And why would I let a criminal that assaulted my dad anywhere near him? That would just be irresponsible.
Please, stop calling me a criminal. I didn't even do anything wrong. You shouldn't be talking to me that way.
You're right. You're not a criminal yet. You have to be arrested and processed first. But then, after that, you're nothing but a criminal, and you'll have a record that will follow you forever. You'll never be able to escape it. You used to pride yourself on judging others for their education all this time. You thought you could tell all that you needed to about someone just from what schools they went to. Well, now you'll have a very different kind of record, though I'm not sure you'll want to brag about it.
Please, don't do this to me. You're going to ruin me. Don't you get it? What am I supposed to do? Please don't punish me for this. I didn't know.
After that, Dave reached out to me and told me about how the police arrived to arrest his dad. He told me about how his dad begged not to be taken away, but seeing as how my dad's company contributes a lot to the annual policeman's ball, the cops were all too happy to take Ron away. I know that I told Ron the wedding was off, but that was just to add a little bit more pressure to him and make him sweat. After his dad was taken away, Dave said that he talked to his mom, who was going to be getting a divorce from Ron, and that they were both going to cut Ron off and never talk to him again. While he was in jail awaiting trial, Ron got a call from his company saying that he was fired for his misconduct and for damaging the business. After his firing, my dad renegotiated the canceled contract so Ron's company wouldn't pay for his stupidity. Ron tried to reach out to Dave and ask for his help in setting everything right, but by then, the both of us had already blocked his number. I have no idea what Ron is up to now, but the wedding for Dave and I is still on schedule. The night that we were supposed to have our family meeting, Dave came to my house and apologized profusely to my dad. My dad laughed it off and said that he didn't blame Dave and that he still wanted us to get married. We both know that we've been through a lot, but we're still very much looking forward to the day when we can call each other husband and wife.
Hey, you old hag. Where's my money? Just how long are you going to try and keep me waiting before you cough up what's mine? Huh? Don't you know that you're supposed to give me my allowance today? I thought I told you that I wanted you to pay me on time every single day. Or is that too hard to figure out for a stupid woman like you?
Ginny, I believe that you and I have already talked about your allowance. I told you that last month was going to be the last time that I gave you any money, remember? I told you that because you were starting college that you would be on your own, remember? I explained to you that the allowance would end when you finished high school. We talked about this and you said that you understood what I was saying.
What on earth are you talking about? I never, ever remember talking about anything like that at all. You were just delusional and trying to cheat me out of what's rightfully mine. But now I just need you to shut up and pay me. I'm sick of waiting, and I'm even more sick of talking to you.
Look, I have told you that I am not going to be paying you anything anymore, okay? Why can't you go and ask your father for these kinds of things?
I knew it. I knew there was no point in trying to talk to a fake mother like you. You know, I never even wanted you to marry my dad, right? I was fine when it was just the two of us. You always ruin everything. If you knew what was good for you, you would just shut up and pay me. There's no need to make things this complicated.
I'm sorry, Jenny, but if that is the way that you were going to ask for money from me, then I feel even less inclined to pay you than before.
Well, it's all your fault that my dad doesn't have any money. I know that you've been using up every last cent of his. He told me all about it. He explained to me how you handle the budget for the house, and that means that you control all of the money. But all I heard when he was telling me that is that you're taking my dad's hard-earned money and using it all for yourself. It's so sad. I can't believe that my dad has been tricked like this. I just wish he would leave you already.
You know, sometimes I think about leaving too. But the thing is that isn't a decision that you'll get to make for anyone. That is going to be something that your dad and I talk about and come to a decision on amongst ourselves. But let me make this very clear to you. I am not stealing money or holding your father financially hostage in any way, shape, or form, okay? I think you might want to go ask your dad about what's really going on one more time.
You really have got some nerve, do you know that? makes you think that I want to hear what some old hag like you has to tell me? Anyways, I think I've made myself clear here. Just get the money ready and send it to me as soon as possible, okay?
No, it's not okay at all. If you really need money that badly, go and find a job. Daniel, I have seriously had it. I mean it. I am really at my limit right now. I mean, just how long are you going to let Ginny act the way that she does? She is seriously so unbelievable sometimes. Do you know that she thinks that I'm taking all of your money and spending it on myself? This is seriously getting ridiculous.
Aw, come on, she's not that bad. You're just being overdramatic. Besides, you know how girls her age are. But you're the adult. You should just know how to take it and let things slide, right? Surely that isn't too much to ask of you.
Daniel, I am serious. I have half a mind to leave you both. And if nothing happens to change the situation, then I just really might. I mean, just a few minutes ago, she was asking me again about her allowance. But I told her that when she started college, that I wasn't going to be giving her any money at all. I told her that if she wanted someone to give her money, she would either have to get a job and get paid by her boss or go and talk to you.
Laura, please. Don't you think you're just being a little bit stingy? You really need to learn to just let things slide. And quit getting so upset over everything. I mean, you do know that if you get upset like that you're only going to give yourself more wrinkles, don't you?
Wow. Well, thank you so much for caring about the state of my face. I'm so glad to know that I have people who listen to what I have to say around here. But I have to say that in the 10 years that we've been married, I feel like I've aged at least 30 years. And I think it's high time I try and make up for all the time I've lost dealing with you and Ginny. So you can pack up your bags and just get out right now, Daniel.
Hey, you old hag. What the heck is going on here, huh? You better start explaining things to me right now.
Hello, Ginny. I was wondering when I was going to hear from you. It's been a while since we've last talked, hasn't it? Is there something that I can help you with?
Do you have any idea how pissed I am at you right now? How dare you try and take that attitude with me?
Ginny, I really don't think there is any reason to be talking to me like that, even over text. Now, I have no idea what's got you so upset, but I can guess that this little outburst is going to be followed by you trying to ask me for something.
I know that I only became your daughter when you married my dad, but that still makes me kind of like your real daughter, right?
Wait, what? I have to say that after all that anger and vitriol, I really wasn't expecting you to say something like that.
Well, what I mean is that if you're my mom and I'm your daughter, then you need to pay for my school. If you don't, then I'll talk to my dad and make him divorce you. Is that something you want?
Wait, what? What is going on here?
I just got a letter from my school telling me that my tuition still hasn't been paid. Do you have any idea how embarrassed I was to get that? I went to talk to my dad to ask him why my school wasn't paid for yet, and he told me that you two said that you would pay for it all. So, what I want to know is why you haven't paid my tuition for my program yet, huh? Do you want me to have to drop out or something?
Okay, hold on just a second there. First of all, I never, ever said that I was going to be paying for your tuition. Second of all, just why would I be the person paying for your schooling anyways? I mean, you're still living in that house, right? Just when are you going to move out?
You really have some nerve to talk to your daughter this way. Honestly, I don't think anyone else in the whole world knows how to piss me off quite like you do.
But did you miss the part where I said that I would have my dad divorce you? Because I really will if you're not going to pay for my school.
Unless your whole plan this entire time has been to sabotage my education and make me quit. But I won't let you get away with that. It's just unacceptable, and you need to cough up the money right now.
You really must think the world revolves around you if you think that's any way to get what you want. In fact, reading your messages, I can't help but crack up laughing that you're actually serious about this.
Are you kidding me right now? Is that how unseriously you're taking all of this? You have got to be joking with me right now, right?
No, I'm very serious actually. But anyways, I guess if you're really saying all that, that means you haven't heard anything from your dad, right?
What do you think you're talking about? Didn't you read how I went to my dad and he told me that since you weren't going to pay for my schooling, then it would mean that I'd have to drop out? So that's why you need to cough up the money for my tuition right now. If you don't, then I'm really going to make my dad leave you.
I am not your mom anymore, Ginny.
Wait, what? What are you talking about this time?
Wow, you really don't know about this at all. That's actually incredible. Well then, I guess allow me to be the first person to inform you that your father and I have gotten a divorce. In fact, we've been divorced for quite some time now. So if your dad really did tell you that I was going to be paying for your school, then I'm afraid that he was as sorely mistaken as you are. After all, why in the world would I pay for some girl's school who isn't even a part of my family?
Wait a second. You mean it? You and my dad are really divorced, and you're really not my mom anymore.
Oh man, I really wish that I could see your face right now. But yes, in a nutshell, that is what's going on here. And if I can be honest with you, your father was nothing but lousy trash.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that he was using all of his salary to pay off his debt up until recently. But he would also keep taking out loans in the meantime. And anyway, since he was so bad with money and never was good at setting any aside, that's why he can't afford to pay for your school. So I suppose that if you really want to stay in your program, that you'll have to go and earn money yourself. Although I did warn you that you'd have to earlier.
But that can't be right. What do you mean that my dad doesn't have any money? You're really trying to tell me that this is all his fault?
Ginny, you are not a little girl anymore. You are in college. Do you really just go through life not thinking deeply on anything? Have you really not realized that every time you needed money, it was me that was giving it to you? For 10 years, I've taken care of you as my own daughter. And I would financially support you just like a mother would her own daughter. But I guess you never, ever thought of it in that way, did you?
No, it's not like that at all. I always thought that you were paying me with money that my dad was earning.
Well, I'm afraid that the money your dad was earning was all going towards his own debt. Every cent that I gave you came from my own earnings. I took care of everything in the house, kept my job, and made sure that you got the support you needed. And yet you insisted on insulting me, calling me an old woman and treating me as if I was a parasite on your family. But now I guess you realize that the only parasites around here were you and your father. So you can threaten me with divorce all you want. It isn't going to change anything now. Whatever happens next is entirely up to your dad and you.
Well, wait a second. Does that mean that you're just going to abandon me like this? You're really going to just leave me like this all over a little mistake? Don't you get that you're still like a mother figure or something? Doesn't that mean you have to take care of me? A real mother wouldn't just abandon her daughter like this.
Weren't you the one calling me a fake mother anyways? I'm sorry, but it is far too late for you to try and change your tune now.
I don't believe it. I can't believe that you're really just going to walk out of our lives and leave us like this.
Oh, I think it's perfect. Besides, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I knew that it would be best to wait until you finished high school before leaving your dad. But anyways, I thought you would be a little more grateful to me since I paid for all of your college applications. Although you probably didn't even know that I was the one who did that either. Oh, right, that actually reminds me, you should know that you only have until the end of the month to leave the house.
I don't get it. This is all so much at once. What do you mean I'll have to leave the house? I live here. This is my family's house.
I'm afraid you were wrong again. This house was just a rental.
You can't be serious about that, right?
I haven't lied to you about a single thing yet. Why would I lie about this? Anyways, I was also the one paying for our house, but I've already moved out and informed the leasing company that I would like out of my lease. So you basically don't have any choice but to leave. I don't know what you're going to do with your life from here on out, but you're already 18, so you should be able to figure something out.
And I really have to move out by the end of the month? But that's in 3 days?
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Well, I suppose that means you better get packing, huh?
How the heck am I going to move out all of my things in just 3 days? And where the heck am I supposed to go from here?
Oh, that? I've already talked to your dad all about that.
Wait, really? What did you say to him?
Well, I told them that I wanted you both out of the house and that he should look for some place for you both to live.
That doesn't solve any of the problems that I have right now. I am trying to ask where the heck I should even go.
Yeah, that really isn't my problem. But if you're still in the house after 3 days, legally speaking, you would be trespassing. And then I suppose that would mean the police would have to get involved, and I don't think any of us want that, so...
Well, what about my school? They are demanding that I pay my tuition or else I'll have to drop out.
Oh man, sounds rough.
Oh, come on. Is that really all you have to say to me about this? I thought you were my mother.
We've already talked about that. I am not your mom, and I don't owe you anything. If you want to go ask your father, maybe you can convince him to take out even more money to pay for your school. Otherwise, you'll just have to go into debt to pay for it. Either that, or you can go out and find a job. Because I already told your dad that I was done paying for anything of yours. But anyways, if you're looking for someone to blame for all of your money troubles right now, I would go talk to your dad.
But this can't be. Neither my dad or I have a single cent left, and now we're about to be kicked out. What are we supposed to do, Mom?
Sorry, were you talking to me? Because I don't know where your mom is.
What are you talking about? You've always been my mom. I've always thought of you that way.
Okay, now we both know that is just a lie. But anyways, your father and I are divorced now, which means that you're finally free from me. I thought this is what you wanted. Anyways, this conversation is just going in circles now. Have a nice life, Jenny. Or don't. I don't really care either way. In the end, Jenny and Daniel barely managed to pack up all their things before they had to leave the house and found themselves homeless. The next semester rolled around and, unable to pay, Jenny was forced to drop out. She tried to reach out to me again, begging for money, a house, food, anything. But I told her that she wasn't getting a penny from me. She thought that I was the one stealing all of her father's money, but he was the one who wouldn't have been able to survive without my help. I tried to warn Jenny that she would have to be more self-sufficient, but she just wouldn't listen. So I really just can't bring myself to feel any kind of pity for her. If you ask me, Jenny and her dad got exactly what they deserved. As for me, after my divorce from Daniel, I moved back to live with my parents for a little bit. I explained what I had been through, and they were more than happy to take me in while I found my feet. It really just goes to show you how important being kind is to those who care about you. You never know when you're going to need help, and it's good to have connections with people who care about you. Even if it wasn't my parents, I had plenty of people who I could go to for help because I always approached the issue of asking for it with humility and tact. I can only hope that Jenny learns a similar lesson as she grows up and gets to reflect on her words and actions.